Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our top week 3 starts, streamers, and fades for fantasy football. We're here to help you make all the right decisions as to who should be in your lineup and who needs to be out and who you should avoid as well. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hit that drop. Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. I am Justin, and Kyle likes to point at himself.
Oh yeah, because this is me.
That's
I'm
him.
here. Oh yeah,
Thanks.
don't you know?
Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football Podcast and YouTube channel. Week 3 is here, everybody. We are so happy that football is back and pumped that we can help you win the championship.
Oh yeah, I got that one somewhere.
Championship.
It's
There it is. Today we're hitting you with our starts of the week, streamers of the week, and fades of the week. But definitely check out our start-sit episodes from the last 2 days. Yeah, the most recent one being the link above there, and then also down in the description below. Kyle, what you got for me?
All right, so make sure that you click the button to subscribe as well as the bell to get notified every time that we upload the best fantasy football podcast on the internet. You need to make sure that you're double checking your waiver wire constantly because people are dropping a lot of stuff early in the season because they are growing tired of people who aren't performing too quickly. And there are plenty of guys who are going to pick it back up, once the other guys fall off who are overperforming to start the season. Let us know below in the comments if you have any start-sit questions. We will make sure to try to answer those and get you set up for tomorrow's games. You can hit us up on there all day. We might not get to you right away, but we try to get to everybody. So we hopefully will be able to help you. We've been getting a lot of those here and there, so we'll hopefully be able to give everybody the chance to get to that
championship.
All right, let's dive in headfirst into the shallow end here, Justin. Today we're talking about our starts of the week, our streamers of the week, and our fades of the week, right?
Yep.
We're also going to give our survivor picks for survivor pools. First, though, let's talk about our starts of the week. We're going to talk about 2 at each position, 1 for you, 1 for me. Let's start off with our QBs. What do you have as start of the week QB?
I have a Dak Prescott, and he's going against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's not that fade that you usually put on QBs when they were going against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Points are to be had, man, against them, and I think they're trying to get to shootouts. That's really how this defense is nowadays. I think they're a little more on the younger side, and it's starting to show. Who do you have?
They're also hurt. They're also hurt. Bruce Irvin's out now too, right? That's out for the year. As far as start of the week at QB for me, I know it's a little bit of a homer pick, but I've got Aaron Rodgers there against New Orleans, and that's because New Orleans is bad against QBs and the pass. They're solid against the run, but this is one of those weeks that you got to kind of keep your eyes peeled for a 4-touchdown week out of Aaron Rodgers. It's quite possible that this could be that kind of week. All right, so what do you have at running back start of the week?
So you had a homer pick, and I have a homer pick, and it's Jonathan Taylor, and he's going against the New York Jets. The Jets. JT got
Wait. We know who the Jets are. They are
The worst.
There it is.
And that's why JT is the start of the week. He got that workload last week, and the efficiency was pretty good. I think that's going to increase against the New York Jets, and his vision was a little suspect week 2, but I think it could be just, he's new to the NFL. Let's give him a little bit of time, and I think he's going to be a top 5 running back for the rest of the year.
There you go, man. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going back to Old Faithful here, and that's Josh Jacobs
back to the well
this
just
year.
a little bit.
Oh yeah, Josh Jacobs against New England. New England is not great at stopping the run, guys, and Las Vegas is giving him a full workload. He is going all the time here. What we were talking about it. What is it, like 27 handoffs first week, 25 the second or something? It was something crazy like that. Those are insane totals. This dude is on pace. He's got to be on pace for like 400 carries or something. It's gross.
Just hold
all right,
buddy.
So who do you have as your wide receiver start of the week?
I have a perfect bounce back candidate here for my wide receiver start, and that's Allen Robinson against the Atlanta Falcons. He's getting the targets. He's just not getting the production yet, and I think that's going to rectify itself against that terrible secondary for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
That's who I have. What do you have for wide receiver start of the
I've
week?
got Amari Cooper, the same reason that you had Dak Prescott, and that is the Seattle
Mhm.
secondary. This is not the secondary that you remember back in the day, the Legion of Boom, right?
Yeah.
They're not the Legion of Boom anymore. And they lost Bruce Irvin this week. So I think that they're a little bit hurt from the middle of
Mhm.
that defense going back. They're very suspect right now. So I think this is a defense that you can score on if you're passing, and this is a passing offense. Who do you have as your tight end start of the week?
I have Mike Gesicki versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There it is.
Jags.
No. Close enough.
Dude, Gesicki just went off against the Bills. Just went off. And, they said, Devontae Parker, it sounds like he is practicing now, but it's still, I think they're going to throw it enough just because they love to throw it with Fitzmagic. I think it could be a 1A, 1B kind of situation.
Parker is fully off of the injury report.
Perfect.
He's off of the injury report now. So
that just means they're going to take some attention away from Gesicki.
From Gesicki, yeah, they never ever had a problem both being on the field at the same time and getting 11 plus targets each, right?
Yep.
I actually mentioned in one of our episodes this week, I think it was might have been in the waiver episode or something. I don't remember which episode it was, but I mentioned that actually Gesicki has, Taysom Hill has lined up as an end line tight end and run routes more than Mike Gesicki has, because Mike Gesicki doesn't line up as an end line tight end. He lines up in the slot. Yeah, he's a wide receiver who's playing in the slot essentially. They're not playing him as a tight end. All right, so tight end for me as a start of the week, I have Zach Ertz, but you're already going to start him anyway. This is against Cincinnati. Rager's out 2 now. Everybody is out in Philadelphia, right? There's nobody left to pass the ball to except for Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. So we're back to where we were last year, pretty much, right? Rager's out if you didn't know that, guys. All right, so let's move on here to our streamers. Justin, what QB are you planning on potentially having as a streamer this week? And let me just ready it. Go ahead, say who it is. Well, wait, I'll tell you who it is.
The worst.
He's the worst streamer, I think.
Wow.
I don't like this.
You don't like this. It's okay.
I don't.
It's okay. I'm looking at garbage time. I'm looking at a lot of points just being had right now, and that's Mitchell Trubisky. I'm getting that QB wide receiver stack with Allen Robinson going on right now. Trubisky still has a decent little rushing floor, and once again, the Atlanta Falcons, man, they just can't stop anybody. And if you're looking for a stream, if you're looking for a shot, try it out. See how it feels.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he already had his 2 good games of the year. So
you're not biased though at all.
No, not at all.
Who do you have as your QB streamer?
He's still not the second overall pick. Come on. All right. So I've got Gardner Minshew. I don't know why, but he's only rostered in 50% of leagues over on Yahoo.
I don't get it.
And I don't get that. This is going to be a shootout game. They're playing against Miami.
Yep.
Minshew is turning into an every week QB1. He really is. And if he's on your waiver wire, I would say go grab him right now. If you need a QB or you think you might need a QB, this dude's got 4 weeks lining up. We've talked about it all week. This is a great lineup here, guys. All right, who do you have as a streamer at tight end? You might actually need tight end streamers right now.
I know, and it's still kind of rough because, banking on production at tight ends is still pretty darn tough, and that's just how fantasy football is, it seems like. But I'm going back to the well, and that's Logan Thomas against the Cleveland Browns. He is getting the targets. He just needs a little more production, and I think that just has to do with the chemistry between Dwayne Haskins and Logan Thomas. Hoping that improves, but I just said his quarterback is Dwayne Haskins. So
Yep.
Yeah. Who do you have as your tight end stream?
Yeah, time for a deep cut here. We're going with Mo Alley Cox, right? Over.
It's not that deep.
It's a little deeper. I mean, he's not the starter there, right? Usually, but Jack Doyle's out, so it's Mo Alley Cox season. And they're playing against the Jets. Who are the Jets?
The worst.
That's right. The Jets are not good in general, and especially not good against the tight end. So fire up Mo Alley Cox and just take the check to the bank right now. That's what you can do. All right. Okay. Streaming defense. What do you have this week?
I have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're still not rostered in as many leads as they should be, especially coming off a really good game last week. So,
Yeah.
and this comes down to they're going against Jeff Driscoll's Denver Broncos, I should say. And I just Tampa Bay looked pretty swarming against the Carolina Panthers, and I think it's going to happen again. Who do you have?
I have got this one's really like this might seem bad, but it's not actually. Think about it.
Going even deeper?
That's Cleveland versus Washington. Cleveland's defense. They're rostered in 26% of leagues right now. The over-under on this game is set at 44, and the spread is 7. That projects Washington to have 18.5 points in this game. That's it. 18.5 points. So Cleveland should be able to get a couple sacks, a couple turnovers. It should be a good opportunity here.
Yep.
I say should because it's Cleveland and we know what Cleveland does. All right, so let's move on here to our fades, Justin. We've got 4 of these each, one at each position. Which QB are you fading this week?
This one kind of hurts, and that's Carson Wentz. He is quickly becoming a non-starter in fantasy football, and hell, maybe in real life, man. This regression that he's had this year is ridiculous. It really is. I get it.
I don't understand
injuries, but that's what happened last year, and he still.
I don't understand why he's so terrible with all of these weapons that he has. He just can't seem to string it together. He can't put it. I don't get it. I just don't get. I'm being facetious, obviously.
I know you are. I know, but it's just okay. He had similar targets last year, similar weapons last year, and maybe the offensive line is not as good as this year or as last year. So
hurt.
I mean, even Doug Peterson has said, "Well, we're not worried about his play." That's when you know you should be worried. That's when you know.
Well, you're talking about him, Coach. So.
Yeah. You brought him up.
All right. Yeah, you brought him up. We didn't even ask you. I was just like, what are you getting for lunch? And speaking of food, the old wet spaghetti arm here is my QB fade of the week, and that is Drew Brees going against Green Bay. Yeah, Drew Brees. He does not have Michael Thomas most likely this week. Yeah. And if he doesn't have that, he doesn't have anything. That's what happened last week. He didn't have anything. So just hard pass, guys. I think we've seen the end of the rope. I think we found it.
Yep.
What running back are you avoiding this week?
This is still a startable running back, of course, especially with what happened week 2 with injuries. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus the Ravens. Hilaire's production decreased quite a bit last week, and he's got an even harder matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. So that's why I'm going to fade him just a little bit. But if you have him, you're going to start him. Just don't expect a top 12 running back performance.
Yeah. I mean, you could always get lucky and break off a big run. That's just always a luck sort of situation. That's not a defense that you're going to get that against regularly.
Yep.
As for me, I'm going with Nick Chubb against Washington. Believe it or not, Washington's defensive line is actually really solid. They're not giving up a whole lot.
Good thing for the Washington football team.
Yeah, I mean, they're one defensive line away from being the Jets. They kind of are, actually. And so they're not terrible. They've been hanging in games considering they don't score points. That's not so bad. All right, wide receiver. Which wide receiver are you avoiding?
I'm avoiding DJ Moore against the LA Chargers. I mean, this LA Chargers D has been really good this year. They're really getting after that quarterback, and I just don't have that much faith in Teddy Bridgewater right now. The consistency between those two is just not there yet. I feel like Bridgewater has a better connection with Robbie Anderson right now, and let's not forget that Teddy Bridgewater doesn't have a security blanket in Christian McCaffrey either. So I just don't think this is going to be a good game for Carolina.
Yeah. All right, I'm not so happy about this. I'm going with Julio.
Tough.
Julio Jones, man, against Chicago. The question I have is this it? Are we finally seeing it happen, the regression, the end? It's possible. I mean, he's only just over 30, right? But it's a hard 30. That's a hard 30 with all the injuries that this guy's played through in his life. We suggested over the
Calvin
summer.
Johnson situation here where he's just going to
I don't know. I don't think that Arthur Blank is like the Fords. I don't think that he's as much of a jerk. I know he called his team out, his special teams. I know that he did that last week, but I don't think he's the same as the Fords. The Fords are a special brand there.
Yeah.
But look, we suggested that this could happen over the summer. We thought that though Julio would probably be able to hang in there, but right now it's Calvin Ridley's the wide receiver 1 on that team, and this is also not a great matchup. So I mean, Julio sometimes could go off, but I just don't think it's going to be consistent this year. All right, what do you have at tight end?
Jared Cook against his former team, Green Bay Packers. His lack of targets that he got last week with Michael Thomas out was just startling. I think he got like 3 targets and 2 catches and 12 yards, but he got a touchdown. So it kind of saved people, and you just can't count on that kind of touchdown production out of a guy that's just not getting the work. And once again, there's a quarterback that can't throw 10 yards.
Well, I mean, isn't that the story, though, from last year? Michael Thomas had like no touchdowns compared to Jared Cook's touchdowns and like 45 catches. I think he had 9 on 45 catches, which is absurd. That's 20% of your catches are touchdowns. That doesn't make any sense. And so I think that his targeting is actually fairly in line with what he's had. His production is just outsized. It has been outsized on that team forever. And now that Drew Brees is a noodle arm, I don't think there's much left in that offense.
Yeah.
So for me at tight end, I've got Evan Ingram going against San Francisco. Even with all of the injuries to San Francisco, I think that they'll still be able to defend against the tight end position fairly well, decently well. And you don't have to be perfect because this is the Giants that we're dealing with, right? So you've got Daniel Jones throwing the ball. He hasn't looked very good. Saquon Barkley is out. Sterling Shepard is now out. The defense is going to take away the last valuable piece of that offense on the Giants, and that's Evan Ingram. There's really nothing else to focus on except maybe Golden Tate and Darius Slayton, but that's about it. I mean, there's really not much of an offense going there. All right, guys, we're going to add in a new thing this week. We're going to talk about our survivor picks. If you're in a survivor pool,
heck yeah,
we've got some picks here to help you out. So, Justin, what team are you selecting this week? Now, remember, you're not going to be allowed to select this team again during the course of the season. That's what the survivor rules are. So, who's your pick for this week?
We're going to have to keep track of this, Kyle.
We will.
Indianapolis Colts against the Jets. We already kind of talked about the Colts previously on this episode. So, Colts against the Jets. I think that should be a really good one for you to kind of keep the ball rolling. Hopefully you haven't missed one yet this year.
Yeah, I think I started the Colts, or I picked the Colts last week, or I don't remember. I don't remember what I did. Maybe I had them in the week 1 and they lost or something. All right, so for me, I'm taking Cleveland. They're facing Washington. Yeah. Indy is right now. The reason I'm not taking Indy, I think Indy's a great pick. But the reason I would fade Indy right now is because they're being picked in 45% of survivor pools across all platforms online right now.
Dang.
If they lose and Cleveland wins at their 7.5 point spread, half of your competition's gone already. So the EV, the expected value of picking Cleveland, is vastly higher than it is for picking the Colts. And the difference between the win percentage, like Colts, I think have a 10-point spread and Cleveland has a 7.5 point spread. The difference in like historical win percentage at those spreads is a difference of like 84% winning all the time to 75%. So you're only gaining about 9 percentage points by taking Indy. So by fading that spot and taking Cleveland, I think you actually have a better chance of winning your
gaining
pool
some
overall
ground and cutting out some people.
Yeah, winning your pool overall. You increase your odds of doing that. So it's all about expected value and survivor picks. All right, guys, that's it for this week, actually. It's the end of week 3, but we will still take your questions. So make sure you throw down into the comments all of your start and sit questions, any specific questions, who to pick over who to sit over who to grab off the waiver wire, all that sort of stuff. Make sure you comment below. We'll try to get to it before the start of games on Sunday. And I will also put in our start sits for this week. I'll drop both of those on the screen right now. And make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so you're notified every time that we upload the best fantasy football podcast on the internet. We thank you guys for being fans of The Upside, and we will see you next time. Bye.
See you guys. Good luck.